All right, guys, so let's do this real quick. We are gonna compare the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max with the Xiaomi 15 Ultra here in the US. And I have been using both of these phones. This is probably gonna be my last video of the series for the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max. I've been using both of these phones, the 15 Ultra, since I did my 17 Pro Max full review. I'll link that video in the description. I've been using my X15 Ultra as my main driver, my daily driver, and I've been using my Xiaomi 17 Pro Max as my secondary phone with my second SIM card in there. Just to get a feel for both these phones. So we're gonna go through this. Let's compare them a little bit. And then after that, you guys will probably see me sell both of these. I'm gonna get both of these online. At least the 17 Pro Max is gonna be selling for sure. Probably my 15 Ultra, but I cracked the screen, so I don't know. I love that phone so much, I keep going back to it. So, all right. Let's get right into it. And I'm gonna go over a few like loose categories here to get you guys going, to get you guys a full picture. So the unboxing, let's go the unboxing. The unboxing is pretty even here, I would say. One thing I kind of like is I feel like every year it's a little something different. With Samsung, it feels like it's Apple and Samsung, it's the same box every year, same thing every year. You get nothing in the box. Xiaomi always does something a little different. So here's the 15 Ultra, right? Even just the box. But then the 17 Pro Max, which came out, you know, months, not years, but months after that, it's much longer. It's a totally different box. So the unboxing here, I would say, is pretty even. So let's do the 15 Ultra first. Okay, so 15 Ultra. 16 gig RAM, 512 ROM. Now, I should say that before you guys roast me in the comments, this isn't a direct comparison. You should be comparing the Ultra to the Ultra, or the Pro Max to the Pro Max, right? Or the Pro, whatever that year's model is. However, the 17 Pro Max is the top of the line version of the Xiaomi we have newest, and then this 15 Ultra is the top of the line version we had prior. So I think it's fair, right? And then when the Ultra comes out, we can do the Ultra versus the Ultra. So X15 Ultra, global. Come on, I was trying to be dramatic, come on. Okay. Designed by Xiaomi. Got your SIM card tool in here. Got all this stuff. This is actually where the case goes. I had it packaged in wrong again. When I packaged it back up, it was wrong. Okay, then you get your phone. Okay. A little anticlimactic here. So you get your phone here with a little case. So you get a little case here. And then you get the phone right there. So this is the 15 Ultra. You guys can see it's got the massive camera on the back here. And then in the box, you guys get the charger, 90 watt, and the cable. Now this charger, this 90 watt charger here, this is a UK charger. I've got the UK global version. So you guys, if you guys are getting this in the US, you're gonna need the adapter for it. So this is a 90 watt charger, and a word of advice, I got the cheapest adapter. I got the cheapest adapter off Amazon, and it was kind of trash. I ended up not using the charger at all. So keep that in mind. Do with that what you will. So that's the unboxing, X15 Ultra. Pretty solid. You get a case, you get a charger, you get a cable, you get the whole nine. They really do set you up, okay? And then here comes the 17 Pro Max. Look at that, the long boy, okay? 17 Pro Max, white box. Pull them off, right there. You got little flaps on this one. So you got yourself a little 100 watt charger. Now this is China only. This is no global version on this. So you got your 100 watt charger and a cable. Then in here you got a little case. They get you a little frosted case. And you got the phone, right? So as far as the unboxing, I would say it's pretty even just because you get the charger, you get the the case. Xiaomi hooks it up. Vivo, Xiaomi, they hook it up. They get you all the stuff that you need to get going. So I would say that the unboxing on this is pretty even keel here, okay? Depends on what you like. If you guys got like the long box, or if you guys like the short box, short and fatty. If you guys like the short and fatty versus the long and skinny, that's on you. You know, that's a personal preference. We're not gonna get into this on this channel right now. Okay, so here we have the two phones, all right? My laptop is screwing up. I got some of my notes up on my laptop, and the freaking, the cursor is like fucked. It's a rage. I'm like raging at my electronics this morning. Everything's going wrong. Okay, so you've got the X15 Ultra and the 17 Pro Max here, okay? So let's go over a few of the specs, and let's compare a few of the specs, okay? So, let me throw my, hang on here. Okay, and you guys got full bright, no reading mode. And you see I've got the same wallpaper there for special effect. Okay, so the important specs. 17 Pro Max, released September 25th, 2025. Okay, X15 Ultra released February 27th, 2025. So this is obviously a little bit older. The 15 Ultra a little bit older. 162.9 by 77.6 by 6.8 millimeters. 161.3 by 75.3 by 9.4 millimeters. So the X15 Ultra is a little bit smaller width-wise, but obviously they're saying it's a little bit thicker because of this huge camera. Okay. 219 grams for the 17 Pro Max, 229 grams for the 15 Ultra. I don't know if that's right. $229.7 for the X15 Ultra. And I'm getting $224 for the X17 Pro Max. $229.7, X15 Ultra. $224, 17 Pro Max. So about, you know, it's gonna be equal. You guys aren't really gonna notice a difference. Either of these weight-wise isn't gonna break the bank. It's not gonna make or break. It's not gonna be a decision maker here, okay? 17 Pro Max, glass front, Dragon crystal glass, aluminum frame. X15 Ultra, glass front, glass fiber back, or silicone polymer back, and an aluminum frame, okay? So, X17 Pro Max, you've got Nano SIM 2. X15 Ultra, you got Nano SIM, eSIM, and eSIM 2, okay? 17 Pro Max, 7,500 milliamp hour battery. 15 Ultra, 5410 milliamp hour global, 6,000 China ROM, okay? 17 Pro Max is 100 watt wired, 15 watt wireless, 4.5 reverse wireless charge. X15 Ultra, 90 watt wired, 80 watt wired wireless, 10 watt reverse wireless. Then for the cameras, okay? For the 17 Pro Max, you have the 50 megapixel wide, 50 megapixel periscope telephoto, 50 megapixel ultra wide, and a 50 megapixel selfie. The X15 Ultra, you got a 50 megapixel wide, 50 megapixel telephoto, 200 megapixel periscope telephoto, 50 megapixel ultra wide, 32 megapixel selfie, okay? And the 17 Pro Max is running a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, and the 15 Ultra has got the Snapdragon 8 Elite, okay? Right there, all right? So, let's go over the display and feel. The 17 Pro Max has a 6.9 inch display, and the 15 Ultra has a 6.73 inch display. Now, this is my buddies, Jay is gonna roast me. We have talked, and if you guys watch my videos, you gotta get the biggest, baddest phone. If you wanna be the biggest, baddest MF out there, you gotta get the biggest and the baddest. Here's what I will say. I have liked the feel on this smaller 15 Ultra a little bit more. Now, the 17 Pro Max, it feels wide. It's totally flat. I love the totally flat screen. This 15 Ultra still has some tiny, tiny curves at the end, but they make it so that it's like flat. You barely don't, you almost don't even see it. To navigate with one hand, man, this 15 Ultra is like the perfect size phone. I swear, it's like the perfect size phone. So anyway, so this is, I love the feel of the 15 Ultra. I just absolutely love it. But I love the flat display of the 17 Pro Max. So 17 Pro Max, 3,500 nits peak brightness, and the 15 Ultra is 3,200 nits peak brightness. If you guys want to check some of these display settings here. So color scheme, I've got on the 17 Pro Max, you've got adaptive colors, original color, vivid, right? And on the 15 Ultra, you've got vivid, saturated, and advanced settings. So you've got a few more settings here in the color schemes of the 15 Pro, of the 15 Ultra. And I will say, if you guys look, like if you guys just take a look, I think the colors are a little more vivid, a little brighter on the 15 Ultra. And I honestly, as I use both of these phones, it truly is. The 15 just has, like, look at even that Reddit logo. Like, look at that Reddit logo there, 17 Pro Max, and look at that there. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but the 15 Ultra just looks a little bit more vibrant and a little bit less washed out. I don't know if you guys can tell. That's just what it seems like to me, okay? So I will say in the display category, the 15 Ultra, it's gonna take it, unless you guys want the big display and the flat display. Now, there's a bit of a caveat here. Of course, the 17 Pro Max has the rear display, okay? And so I guess with that, it's hard to give it to the 17 Ultra. The rear display on the 17 Pro Max is a bit gimmicky. So if you guys go in here and look, personalization, you can do creative clocks here. You can do your step counter, even though even the step counter, I've been having a hard time getting to work because it says grant permissions in Mi Fitness. But when you download Mi Fitness and grant all the permissions, it still doesn't play well with the Pro Max, with the rear display. What I'm hoping that when they release the Ultra, because what I'm hearing is the Ultra is also going to have the rear display. So my hope is that they make it more available, obviously for the global market. When they release the 17 Ultra, if it does have the rear display, hopefully it's going to have a lot more functionality for the global market. Because right now, it's kind of a gimmicky, except for one very, very important thing, and that is the camera, right? The rear preview is just an absolute game changer. It's an absolute game changer. So the top down is being filmed by the S25 Ultra, and the face is being filmed by the Galaxy Fold 7 rear camera. So I've got the nice camera on the Galaxy Fold 7 filming the moneymaker, so that's what it looks like. So the rear display camera, actually use this all the time. So just with that, I'm gonna change my vote. Just for that, I'm gonna give the display to the 17 Pro Max because it's got a cool function. Beyond that, if you guys go in here for the rear display, notifications, you got travel assistant, phone, hyper tickets, and music service. So you probably in the US are not gonna be using these features. So for you, on the rear display, also what's not on there, Spotify works on the rear display. So Spotify is pretty much the only app, like the only American app that you're gonna use and that it's gonna work on the rear display. You guys see it? So I've got it here. So, but your YouTube music doesn't work, messages don't work, call incoming will say, call ongoing will say, but the other stuff is it's pretty gimmicky. There's just, in the US, there's not a lot of stuff you can do here on the rear display, but the camera use is fantastic. So I'm gonna give the display to the 17 Pro Max, okay, just because of the rear camera. Biometrics. Biometrics on these Chinese phones, I rant and rave. I love the Chinese phone biometrics. I think they blow Samsung out of the water. Apple Face Unlock is fine. I think the Xiaomi just does it better. So X15 Ultra gets right in. Fingerprint, face. X17 Pro Max. Okay, so here's what I would say. If you guys check this out real quick, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the 15 Ultra, the face unlock, if you guys spot the little face icon here, it barely appears before it lets you in. And on this, on the 17 Pro Max, you'll see it roll and turn into a check mark. You guys see that? So I would say the biometrics, maybe the face unlock is like a millisecond faster on the 15 Ultra. But if you guys are going, if you don't have both these phones next to one another, you're not going to notice it. For me, I would say the biometrics, just because it's a little faster, would say the 15 Ultra. But these Chinese phones blow the biometrics out of the Samsungs out of the water. They blow it out of the water. So both of these biometrics are going to be perfectly fine. If I got to claim a winner, I'm going to do the 15 Ultra, okay? Sound, let's do it. You know my boy S.E. Tapia coming with them hits? Oh, shit. I already got Spotify playing. You know what it is. Okay. This is a song called Self-Guided Destruction, all right? Full loud on the 15 Ultra. '17 Pro Max. Okay. 15 Ultra. '17 Pro Max. Nothing on the back screen, see? 15 Ultra. '17 Pro Max. This is tough. 15 Ultra. '17 Pro Max. Okay, this is a little tough for me. So they both sound very good. I think the 15 Ultra might edge it out a little bit because it sounds a little more clear. But I could also see how people would think that the 15 Ultra sounds a little more tinny. So I would say, if anything, the 17 Pro Max sounds a tiny bit more muffled, and the 15 Ultra sounds a little bit more clear. As far as the volume is going to be loud. I mean, top of the line flagship loud on both of them. So you're going to get what you're going to get. As far as comparing it to other phones is going to be just fine. Comparing it amongst one another, I would say the 15 Ultra maybe a tiny bit. Now, here's the one thing I will say on the 15 Ultra that I noticed. When I was recording with my DJI Bluetooth mic on the 15 Ultra, the playback, when I then play it back on the computer or somewhere else, sounds god-awful. It sounds awful. On the 17 Pro Max, it's not as bad, but on the 15 Ultra, when I'm recording with my microphone and then I play it back, it just, the whatever it's doing, it sounds awful. And so why do I blame the 15 Ultra? Because look, and this is, I'm not in there messing with the motherboard and all that. What I'm saying is, when I record, I plug in my mic into my Fold 7, into my S25 Ultra, into my Xiaomi, into my Vivo. I plug that in, and whatever it puts out is what it puts out. So based on that metric, I am telling you that the 15 Ultra garbage output for the sound. So, but as far for recording sound, for your voice recording sound. Now, as far as music and listening to media, I think the 15 Ultra edges it just a little bit, okay? Just a little bit. Okay, let's move on. So, battery. The battery on these, okay, X17 Pro Max, 100 watt wired, 50 watt wireless, 22.5 reverse wireless, okay? X15 Ultra is 90 watt wired, 80 watt wireless, 10 watt reverse wireless. So I got the reverse wireless wrong in the beginning there. I said 4.5 reverse wireless. Let's check what it is. Let's double check so that I'm not wrong. Okay, 22.5 reverse wireless on the 17 Pro Max charge, okay? And then Xiaomi Ultra. $10 reverse wireless on the 15 Ultra. Okay, so 100 watt wired on the 17 Pro Max, 50 watt wireless, 22.5 reverse wireless, 90 watt wired, 80 watt wireless, 10 watt reverse wireless on the 15 Ultra. So the numbers say that the 17 Pro Max is a 7,500 milliamp hour battery. The 15 Ultra has a 6,000 milliamp hour battery, or in the global, it's got a 5410. So this is a global version. So this is a 5410 mAh battery. Okay, so the battery on the 15 Ultra is kind of garbage. I got to charge it at least twice a day. So when I'm using my phone, I got to charge it in the middle of the day. That's the 15 Ultra. The 17 Ultra, even though it says 7,500 milliamp battery, I know the number seems high. I still have to charge it twice. It lasts a little bit longer than the 15 Ultra. However, it still dies out. I'm getting less than a day out of it, but I'm on my phone all the time. I'm a heavy user of the phone. So I'm getting less than a day out of it. I've got to charge both these phones twice. I'm going to say the battery wins on the 17 Pro Max because it does last longer. But, you know, I wouldn't say 7,500, oh, I got to get it because of the battery. It's not like that much better in actual practice. And the thing I will say for this Chinese ROM, for the 17 Pro Max, I do also believe for the Xiaomi Global, but for the 17 Pro Max mainly, the Chinese ROM, once you activate all your notifications and your battery settings for your Google apps, for your apps here in the US, I think the battery's gonna drain faster because you're gonna have to activate. It's not gonna be able to do what it wants to do with those apps in the background, which is to shut them down. So, I'm going to say once you install all your apps and once you enable all your notifications on the 17 Pro Max, that battery's going to run down even a little bit quicker. Now, that's not to say it's a bad battery. It is a better battery than the 15 Ultra. However, the 7,500, don't bite onto that and think that it's going to last 2, 3, 4 days. It won't. So battery, I'm going to say the 17 Pro Max wins on this. Okay, next is a camera. Okay, so for the camera, I'm going to throw up some photos, of course. A couple of thoughts I have. I thought when I got these two phones, I thought that the camera on the Xiaomi 15 Ultra would be just blow it out of the water just because it's the Ultra versus the Pro Max. And then I expect the 17 Ultra to have a nice camera again. Although if they're going to put the back screen on the 17 Ultra, I'm not sure what they're going to do with the camera. I mean, this camera takes up so much of the back. So I'm just not sure. I'm not sure what they're going to be thinking. But as I took these pictures and I put them together, I kind of am realizing it's more close than I thought. I think the 17 Pro Max is it's a fine camera. It's a really good camera. I think the portrait mode on the 15 Ultra is still better. I think the 15 Ultra still has a better camera overall. I really do. The camera on the 17 Pro Max, Chelsea said it makes us look a little bit fake, which I've said this before. I think Vivo's kind of moving towards this AI-ish processing more so on their cameras. And Xiaomi's still, like on the 15 Ultra, it's got this nice big camera. And so I feel like Xiaomi was more hardware based with their camera and Vivo's been doing more image processing in the background versus getting you the good image with the hardware specs, if that makes any sense. And I just haven't liked it as much on the Vivo, to be honest with you. In the last year or two, it's been moving that way. But I will say the camera, I think, is better on the X15 Ultra. Stabilization is going to be meh on both, but if you're getting it for the camera, I think the 15 Ultra is where it's at. So As far as your options here, pretty much the same. Photo, portrait, documents, video, pro mode. Right, so video shooting on the 15 Ultra, shooting 1080 at 30 or 1080 at 60. On the 17 Pro Max, shooting at 720 and 30 or 1080, or I can do 4K, or I can shoot in 8K. And I can shoot in 8K 30 on the 15 Ultra also, okay? 720, 1080, 4K, and 8K, okay? So there's kind of your options for the camera. I would say in this department, I think the 15 Ultra still takes it by a little bit. And I said this in my full review of the 17 Pro Max, is just, I get these phones in the US because of the camera, and you go through the gripes of delayed notifications and all this other stuff not playing well in the US, which we'll get into here in a second. You do this because the camera is so much better than what you can get here. So on the 17 Pro Max, I'm just gonna say it's not quite there. It's fine, it's good. It's still better than the S25 Ultra camera, in my opinion, but it's not as good as the X15 Ultra camera, okay? Okay, so the day-to-day. Let's run real quick. I'm gonna run a Geekbench test on both of these in case you guys wanna see this. What I will say, these phones are pretty similar, pretty evenly matched. What I'm gonna say is going to be the crux of this entire kind of review is that the X15 Ultra is a global version and the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max is a Chinese ROM. So on the day-to-day, you're going to get, the global version is gonna work more like your Samsung S25 Ultra and like your Apple iPhone, meaning how it plays with Google services, how it plays with all your apps. The X15 Global is just gonna do a little bit better. Which is why I would say it's a little bit better because of the compatibility. When I get into US compatibility, we'll go do that through a little bit more. So the other day-to-day stuff, the battery's included in this. I would say the X17 Pro Max has a better battery, so it's gonna last you a little bit longer throughout the day. The 15 gets hotter. It does get hotter. When we try out a couple of the games, just so you guys can see it, the 15 Ultra it physically feels, it does get hot. The 17 Pro Max, I haven't felt it get hot. So do with that what you will. Okay, so we're back. So here you guys can see the benchmark results. 2988 on the X15 Pro Max or X15 Ultra, 9113 and 9733. Wow, okay. So I personally feel like I can move around faster on the 15 Ultra. There's a lot of things that affect these scores, and I don't know how much value you put into these scores anyway, but there you go. That's what it is. The 17 Pro Max does better on the benchmarks. In my personal opinion, once you set the animations to fast, you guys got to go into your developer options, do your animations. I think the 15 Ultra moves a little bit faster. That's my opinion. That's what I got. So you guys can see here. Now this 15 Ultra, it's already like you guys know how that cold phone, that cold metal feels on your hand when you're just regularly holding your phone. this already feels like it's like starting to warm up. It feels like you just you hit start on preheat on the oven, and it's got that, you could put your hand in it, it's not even hot, but it's, it's like a little bit. And I feel the phone already heating up. Like it's not cold anymore, right? But then I've mostly been playing like Diablo on it. And you guys, I'm not really like a huge mobile gamer, so I don't get too crazy far into it. Maybe I need to so I can test some of the bigger mobs. But like this right now, this phone is not, it got a tiny bit like, I don't even want to say lukewarm, is just not cold, average, standard, room temperature. And you feel it in your hand. And I just know, as when I record on this phone and when I do anything that's intensive on this phone, when you actually get to work on this phone, it gets hot. This is the 15 Ultra. It just does. It gets hot. Get dead, bro. Come on. '17 Pro Max. Now this one is as the day it started, right? Not getting hot. And you get this nicer, flatter screen. So if you guys like the bigger screen, maybe on the day-to-day this will be better for you guys. You know what I mean? Just because the screen is better, but that's not fair. That's not a downfall of the phone. That's just how they designed it. So it's like the 15 Ultra came out like it was meant to, and I actually like it more. But I got multiple phones, and I don't use it for gaming. If I was going to use it for gaming, I do like the bigger screen. So I'd probably whip out the S25 Ultra with that big square screen. So anyway, so here you go. And this one, so the Pro Max, the 17 Pro Max does not really get that hot. The 15 Ultra will get hotter. So on a day-to-day, if that matters to you, which it should, there you go. That's what you have. And then obviously we went over the battery, which matters in the day-to-day operations. The 17 Pro Max is a slightly better battery, but I would not hang your hat on the 7500 and go, it's going to last me 4 days. It is what it is. Okay, the UI. So the UI on this is extremely similar, right? Because they're both Xiaomi phones. So you get get the things I love. I love the expanded folders. I love the super wallpapers, right? Always have and always and forever will, okay? Super wallpapers, right? There you go. Earth, they got to add more. They've always had these. Now, I feel like there's a little bit more customization on the 17 Pro Max. Although they changed the settings out a little bit. You can do AI wallpapers and you can design. But I feel like in the UI of the 17 Pro Max, it's a little bit more accessible. Like they kind of want you to use more of this stuff. So I feel like you see how it's, there's just a few more options on the 17 Pro Max that are more accessible. Let's see. And then as far as UI, obviously on the global version here, you can swipe left on your home screen and it'll give you your Google feed. On the Pro Max, you swipe left, it's gonna give you your like quick box or quick apps or whatever. But if you swipe up, it's gonna give you this Chinese news thing. Come on now. This is what it gives you, right? So you can't, if I swipe up on the global, nothing. But if you swipe up, there you go. So it gives you this Chinese feed. So the UI is very similar on both. They're both Xiaomi phones, but there's a few differences, obviously such as like the Google feed on the 15 Ultra. And the other thing, and this might go into UI or US compatibility. There's just things that don't work on the 17 Pro Max that work on the 15 Ultra. Android Auto does not work on 17 Pro Max. It works on the 15 Ultra. Okay. Timeline, Maps Timeline. Maps Timeline does not work on the 17 Pro Max, does work on the 15 Ultra. Android Auto does work on the 15 Ultra, does not work on the Pro Max. Google Assistant Search does work on the 15 Ultra, does not work on the 17 Pro Max. Okay, so the 15 Ultra is just more integrated with the Google services. So for the UI, I'm gonna give it, I'm gonna make it even. I'm actually gonna give it to the 15 Ultra because we're here in the US reviewing these and we need it to work here in the US, okay? All right, US compatibility. I think the 15 Ultra wins hands down. We just went over a couple of the things that don't work. There's just things on the Chinese ROM that are straight up not going to work, okay? Period. It's a phone made for China. It's a Chinese phone made for China. The global version is gonna have a lot more leeway on what works and what doesn't. Okay, so here's the, let me know network, hang on a second. All right, we got network, baby. Okay, so I believe, so this is both running on T-Mobile, even though my 17 Pro Max is running on Mint Mobile, but it counts as T-Mobile. So there you have it. Minus 91, minus 94. Now, I believe 80 is like the baseline. The closer you get to 80, the better. But now the 17 Pro Max is using band 66 here, and the 15 Ultra is using band 25. Now, I will say, as I went over this in my 17 Pro Max full review, I don't like the call. I think the call quality sucks on the 17 Pro Max, especially if you get into some rural areas. If you guys are gonna be downtown or if you guys are gonna be in a regular area, okay, fine. But I think if you guys get into some rural areas, the call quality is gonna suck. So no matter what the numbers say, I think you're gonna feel a difference on the 17 Pro Max. I think the 15 Ultra has better call quality. Notifications, so this is obviously like the thing. So I did a whole video on this. The 15 Ultra is a global version. You're gonna get all of your notifications. If you wanna accept all your permissions and do all the auto start stuff, you can. It's going to get all of your notifications here in the US. The 17 Pro Max, you can set it up to get all of your notifications in the US, but I am telling you guys, there are some notifications that are still going to be delayed here. Reddit, YouTube, different ones at different times will be delayed. You're gonna get calls, you're gonna get texts, okay? But some notifications here are going to be delayed. That's just the way it is on the 17 Pro Max. It's a Chinese ROM, it's a Chinese phone, okay? So for that reason, easily the US compatibility, the 15 Ultra wins easily, hands down for US compatibility, okay? All right, real quick, and then we'll get it out of here. Price. 17 Pro Max, I paid a total of $1139 over on Giztop. And the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, I paid $1,400 on eBay because Giztop did not have the global version. So right now, I think the global version of the 15 Ultra is about $1,243 at Wanda. About $1,400 still on eBay because you know everybody got to take their cut on eBay. Overall, all right, this is really tough and I suspect I might get roasted here a little bit. Overall, I think what it boils down to is the US compatibility on the Xiaomi 15 Ultra. You guys can say that the 17 Pro Max has a rear screen. I think because you can't use very many apps on the rear screen right now in the US, I think it's a bit gimmicky. So I don't think that bumps the phone up, but I think the camera bumps the phone down a little bit. I think the US compatibility bumps the phone down a lot, even though it's not a gripe of the phone. We're just talking about importing the phone here. So overall, the bottom line, I would say the X15 Ultra is the winner, okay? Because the X15 Ultra is still the phone here. It's been my favorite phone this year. It's the phone here that I can grab and not grab any other phone, okay? I get the good camera, I get the US compatibility, I get everything that I need working, okay? On the 17 Pro Max, the camera's not the best. We're still waiting for the 17 Ultra. So, okay, the notifications are gonna be, some of them are gonna be delayed. The setup here is a bit more. You're not gonna get a bunch of things like Android Auto. You're not gonna get your Google Assistant if you use it, Quick Share. You're not gonna get a bunch of these things here. So overall, the X15 Ultra still wins. I would say get the X15 Ultra here in the US. It's going to work in the US. You're gonna get a slightly better camera. If you're comparing these two, I would say get the 15 Ultra. If we're just talking, I would say wait for the 17 Ultra and then we'll see and then we'll compare. All right, you guys. So hopefully this was helpful to you and I will be back with more videos. Thank you as always for tuning in.